The power of intention is so crucial and so important that it is embedded in the number one rule of psychedelic use, which is set and setting. And so I really cannot overemphasize enough that having a proper intention that is specific, that is personal, that is honest, and that speaks directly to your subconscious mind, that is crucial, that is literally setting yourself up for the best possible transformation.
If you're listening to this show, I already know something about you. I know that you care about doing this work well. You're not just here for an experience, you are here for real, lasting change. So let me ask you, how are you ever going to get the transformation you want from ketamine if you aren't clear about what to expect? The only way to make sure that ketamine actually works for you is to get clear on how the mind works and how ketamine interacts with your brain, the rules of psychedelic use so you don't make the same mistake I did, and how to be prepared for anything. And yes, I mean anything. And those questions only get answered when you follow a solid preparation protocol. Unfortunately, most clinics don't offer this up. Maybe they refer you to a therapist, but most therapists don't understand subconscious work or psychedelic work. And with anxiety, ketamine can only do so much. However, I also have good news. That is exactly why I created the ketamine preparation protocol. It is a simple 3-step process to help you feel safe, supported, ready, and yes, able to trust the process so that your journey is powerful and life-changing, not left up to chance. Go ahead and visit the link in the show notes and get yourself prepared, whether you've already started ketamine or are going to soon. All right, back to the show.
Ketamine Connections. Welcome back. I'm your host, Anna Krishtal, and I'm excited for today's episode because we're talking about the 3 things that most people miss when preparing for ketamine. Why are we talking about this today? Well, 1, paying attention to the type of information that you all love. It's the things that are like the nitty-gritty advice, sort of like the hey, what do I do before? What do I do after? Like the how-tos are really resonating with the numbers. That's at least what's bringing you guys to the show. So I want to always provide more of that. And 2, this has been requested. So I'm so excited to share the 3 things that most people miss when they're preparing for ketamine. Hopefully you will be more informed and not make the mistake that some people make. And, I talk about this a lot of like, why is preparation important? And, starting off on the right foot, right? Most of us are raised to think about like, well, first impressions matter, right? So your first impression with ketamine starts so far before the journey. And so when you start preparation, when you start preparing for ketamine and you really do it properly, which is what I'm most passionate about, it takes ketamine from something that you are just like, oh, this thing, I tried it, to, whoa, ketamine really changed my life. And that is in everything that surrounds the ketamine is so far outside of the journey. So I'm really excited to share more information with you over the coming episodes. Before we dive in, just a little housekeeping here. 1, if you've listened to past episodes or even future episodes, because this is all filmed and produced out of order, fan mail. Fan mail was a thorn in my side from the moment it started rolling in because I can't respond to you. And so after multiple episodes of pleading y'all to just like stop sending fan mail, I just turned the function off. Wow, what a concept. So I turned off fan mail. So if you want to get in touch, go to the links in the show notes. Find the best email address, any email address. There's contact forms. There's so many ways to reach out. I want to hear from you. And I'm getting a lot of really great information from you guys reaching out. I'm hearing that these episodes are giving you the information you need to feel empowered as you're talking to clinics, as you're choosing clinics, talking to clinics, going to, pursue your ketamine journey. I'm hearing that this podcast is providing way more information than any clinic. At least that's what I'm hearing from you. And that makes sense because a lot of the information here exists because it's bridging the gap between clinics and clients. So I'm so happy that it's resonating with you. And I'm getting ideas for new episodes. I just got an email very recently this week. Yesenia, I hope I'm saying that correctly, reached out asking for an episode about music, like the best journey music and how to like really curate your music, which is such an important topic. And I'm so happy that that was brought forth. So stay tuned for an episode about how to curate your musical journey is so important. I'll talk about that in that show, not this one. And also, I really want you to consider that all of the content that I'm bringing here is introductory. And when you are ready to really take your ketamine journey to the next level, the next step is to enroll in the ketamine preparation protocol. In fact, every single issue that I address in today's episode is answered in more depth with actual action steps on how to remedy the problem in the ketamine preparation protocol. And we have our first call on May 22nd. So if you hear this episode before then, I hope you do. Just hop in, join the call. We'll be live together in a Zoom room. You'll have all your questions answered. You'll have access to me. You'll meet other people that are on their ketamine journey. I'm just so excited to have this support system. It's something that I have wanted to do for a long time. And it's really like when I think about how can I serve the best, it's preparation. And so I've been doing prep calls for ketamine journeys since 2021. And so this is everything. There's an arc to a good preparation, and the preparation is what sets you up for the best possible journey, transformation, outcome, life transformation, all of that. And so hop into the ketamine preparation protocol and have your questions answered, have like a really robust support system, and just know that you're so welcome in the space, you belong in the space, and I'm so excited to see you there. Okay, back to the topic, 3 mistakes or 3 things that most people miss when they're preparing for ketamine. So why is this important? Because it's lacking. Most clinics are like, oh yeah, just like don't eat, or like, hey, make sure you get a good night rest or whatever. In fact, I've heard from, audience members, I've heard from people inside the ketamine preparation protocol that, the clinic told them same day, like, oh, by the way, please don't eat before you come in. The client reached out and called, and the clinic was like, and asked if there was something that they should do to prepare. And the clinic responded with, oh yeah, don't eat before. And they were really grateful that they had already not eaten. So yeah, everything from like 3D preparation, right? Like how do you prepare the body, to preparing the mind, to preparing like the higher dimensional parts of you, like your emotional body, your spiritual body, all of that is so important. And so the first mistake that most people make, it's not a mistake, sorry, the first thing that most people miss when they are preparing for ketamine is setting an intention that is too vague. And in fact, I'll take it back, not setting an intention at all. Psychedelics are a non-specific amplifier. They're going to bring up whatever's underneath the surface. And I know so many of you have been struggling with depression, anxiety, PTSD for as long as you've been there, And so it's like that needs to come up and out, but also it needs a direction to flow. It needs a direction to go. And then when all of that space is cleared out, really harnessing the power of intention to your desired outcome, right? Like, how do you want this to go? And so, since the beginning, since I started this work in 2021, I would sit with clients and I would say, okay, like, why are you doing all this? And oftentimes I hear some version of to feel better, I want to be happy. My prescriber, my psychiatrist suggested it. Now, is that specific enough? No, it's not. And it's not giving the infinite power of your subconscious mind that is directing your whole life experience a place to send that direction, right? So, what does that mean? Our intention is like our GPS, okay? And so it's like, okay, I'm setting my GPS to Switzerland. Great. I'm setting my GPS to that little cute cafe with those bomb like croissants and that amazing coffee and that view of the Swiss Alps. I want to go there. Right? You see the difference? And so when you set an intention that is too vague, you're missing the magic sauce of really having a direction, having a North Star, having a place for the ketamine to guide you. And is it wrong? No, none of this is wrong. We're transcending this like, oh, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it right, binary dichotomy reality that we've been in, that is so limited of the human experience. What we're saying is, hey, do you want to get the most out of it, right? Like you can go into ketamine without any intention. I've seen people do it and get a lot out of it, right? And do you want to get 10% out of your journey, or do you want to get like 90, 100% of your journey? Because the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. And that's true of anything in life, if we're being honest, right? You go to the gym and you just like haphazardly, like, just pump those 5-pound weights. Sure, maybe that's where you start, right? If you haven't been to the gym in a long time, / ever, start with the 5-pound weights for sure. And then as the muscles grow, you want to grow. And so that's what we're talking about, is we're talking about a system that supports your transformation, the most you can get out of it in the best possible way. And so setting an intention is so crucial. And honestly, the punchline of this is that the ketamine preparation protocol culminates in setting the best possible intention, right? We start with the groundwork. If we're talking about the setting your GPS analogy, we start with your current location. Because if I'm like, hey, I want to go to that bomb cafe with the croissant and the view of the Swiss Alps, I want to go there. Great. Where am I starting? Okay. Because if I'm starting in, I don't know, Geneva, then that's a different journey than if I'm starting in Madrid, for example, or if I'm starting over here in the States. I can't even drive there. I got to get on a boat. I got to get on a plane. I got to get over the ocean to go to that cafe. So really the power of intention is so crucial and so important that it is embedded in the number one rule of psychedelic use, which is set and setting. And so I really cannot overemphasize enough that having a proper intention that is specific, that is personal, that is honest, and that speaks directly to your subconscious mind, that is crucial, that is literally setting yourself up for the best possible transformation. So that's the first thing that most people miss, is setting a proper intention that meets those parameters. The second element that most people miss when preparing for ketamine, is the proper preparation window. Okay. And so some people I've heard of this, they're just like preparing for the ketamine on their way to their ceremony, to their clinic, to wherever they're doing it. And I would say the proper preparation window is about 2 to 7 days before your first experience. Now, if you're listening to this and you're maybe weeks or months into your ketamine journey, just know that there is a magic sauce to preparing retroactively, because the power of intention is so profound that it will ripple through time and space and help you make sense of all of the journeys you've had. I know that's a bold claim, and I would not be making it if I haven't already worked with many clients and I've seen this work. I've worked with clients that have been in ketamine for a few weeks or a few months or like almost a year, and without proper intention, and they're a little lost in the sauce. And so we get together, we set the proper intention using everything that I lay out in the ketamine preparation protocol. And what happens is all of a sudden things start making sense. The lights start going off, things start clicking, and it really it really ripples through time and space. Now, if you're listening to this and your ketamine journey is in 2 weeks, you can jump in and get started and absolutely make sense of the information before that. And you'll want to revisit it, because there's this concept that I prescribe to, that the transformation is in the transaction. And so I've seen it, I've experienced it so many times that I'll sign up for something, whether it's a coaching program or a retreat or a psychedelic ceremony, and all of a sudden the process begins, right? As soon as you sign up, you're signaling to the energetics, there's so many layers of reality. You're signaling to those layers of reality of like, hey, I'm stepping into this thing. And so when that transformation's already begun, even if your ketamine journey's in a few weeks, you can absolutely jump into the ketamine preparation protocol and just start poking around. There's so many things in there that you can use even in your preparation, from subliminal recordings to help prime your subconscious mind, to hypnosis recordings to help you go on journeys, to journal prompts. So you could start journaling and making the most out of priming your subconscious mind. And so the thing that most people miss is, one, preparing for ketamine, period. And two, like, when is that proper preparation window? Honestly, anytime. Special sauce if you finish the ketamine preparation protocol 2 to 7 days before. And it's up to you how long it takes you to do it. I think it's about 3 hours of guidance. So it really just depends on you. Do you want to consume it all at once? That's totally possible. Or do you want to take your time to digest? No right way of doing it. Just happy to have this as a resource for you so that you are properly prepared and not missing this second crucial thing, which is when and how to prepare. And the third thing that most people miss when preparing for ketamine is having the proper support. A lot of us are just very, independent people. I know I am so one of them. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm a recovering, I'll do it all myself. No one can do it as good as me type of person. So I totally get that of I'm smart, I'm accomplished, I'm capable, I'm going to figure this out on my own. And you absolutely can, absolutely figure it out on your own because you are smart and capable and hardworking and so able to do that. And my question is why? Like, why would you continue making things harder for yourself, right? One of the magical things about ketamine, I say this a lot, is ketamine isn't the silver bullet, right? Ketamine isn't going to just magic bullet, magic wand, just like fix things. I don't like that word fix, but it's not going to make the changes, okay? You're going to make the changes, and ketamine is going to make those changes more possible. And one of the things that I know to be true is that we learn through community, we grow through community, we thrive in community. We are quite literally hardwired for human connection, right? Our soft wiring is everything that you can change with psychedelics, with subconscious reprogramming, with all of the work that I've been doing for 7 years. I've seen people's lives change because of subconscious reprogramming. That's software. That's like on your phone, you update your software. Hardware is the things that you cannot change. And we are hardwired for connection, for human interaction. And there's something so amazing. I saw this on a different ketamine preparation protocol live call where someone said something and another person on the call felt so seen by that person because they were having the same experience. There's no way to put value on that because we are so hardwired for connection and simultaneously more isolated, more taken away from our community than ever before. And so often, myself included, we believe that we're the only ones that struggle in this way. And that is a function of the ego mind, by the way. That is a function of your subconscious that doesn't want to change, that finds so much comfort in the level of misery that you've been in for however long. And when you're able to connect with others that are feeling similarly, you really get to have a lived experience of really profound healing. So I really recommend seeking the help, right? And another reason why, this podcast, this platform, the ketamine preparation protocol all exist is because this information isn't really out there from the providers or from therapists. Like, so many players in the psychedelic space are not informed about the subconscious mind, which is what you need to reprogram your life, to reprogram whatever conditioning, patterning you're getting over. They're not informed about how psychedelics work. And a lot of them haven't done psychedelics themselves. So when you're considering getting help, it also makes sense to get help from someone who knows what they're doing. And so I really encourage it, because I have been a DIY, sort of like, I'll figure it out on my own person. I was that person for a really long time. And when I started just asking for help and being open to receive help and calling that help in and, letting that help arrive, everything has accelerated from there. So yes, like, wherever you're going in your healing journey, I so trust that you are resilient and perseverant and, again, hardworking and smart enough to get there on your own. Do you want to take the scenic route, or do you want to take the bullet train? And so that's what is available when you do proper preparation with community, with a good intention. I promise you that accelerates your ketamine healing journey. All right. That is all that I have for you today. The 3 things that most people miss when preparing for ketamine. 1, intention is too vague. 2, not preparing or not knowing when to prepare. And 3, isolating, doing it yourself. I hope this information is useful. Again, we have our first ketamine preparation protocol call on May 22nd. Jump in, join us live in the Zoom room, get your questions answered, meet your fellow ketamine people all over the country. I'm so excited to have so many of you already in the ketamine preparation protocol. And keep your emails coming. Like I said, we have so many episodes coming out that are direct questions and inquiries for you. I'm so excited to bring that to the space, and sending you all the best in your journey, however you decide to journey. Stay curious, and I'll see you next time on Ketamine Connections. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into Ketamine Connections with me today. If this episode supported you, the best way to say thank you is by sharing it or leaving a review. And if you're enjoying the show and you want to connect more, I would love to see you on my newsletter. That is where I share behind the scenes insights, thoughtful guidance, and other parts of your ketamine journey. Never spam, always fun. And honestly, since getting kicked off of social media in 2024, it's where I share the real stuff. I share stories, tools, updates that I don't post anywhere else. So sign up at any of the links in the show notes, and you'll be the first to know when I'm hosting live Q&A or when I'm doing other fun things that are not available anywhere else. It's the best place to hear about it, stay connected, and grow together. All right, that is all I have for today. Thank you. Stay curious, and I'll see you next time.